the type of sensory and emotional overload has become, unfortunately, a defining feature of our modern age. And I think it's safe to say that we have normalized an abnormality at this point. We are truly overstimulated.
We talk about these tech companies and these social media platforms. It's not just software engineers part of this process developing it. It's also psychologists and people like us that know human behavior, that study the brain, and hell what happens. The overstimulated, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, and another one. Welcome. We appreciate you all joining. I am EJ of Manage the Mental. I'm actually 50% of a duo that's going to give you 100% of what we do know, and we hope that that's enough. I'm blessed, I'm privileged, and I'm grateful to have an amazing co-host who is...
What's going on, y'all? Terrence Stewart, licensed therapist. I'm accompanied by EJ, the one and only, the world-renowned licensed and marriage family therapist. Licensed in multiple states, man, doing big things. The author, all that. So we're gonna get into it though, man. But man, we had a cool little conversation right before we hopped on here. You want to tell the people what we decided to give them today?
Yeah, so recently there was an article, and I want to make sure I cite it right, from The Guardian that talked about being overstimulated. And I think bringing that type of awareness and attention to the listening audience and the viewing audience would just be so important to you. So essentially, in that article, they talked about essentially we are experiencing historically high levels of overstimulation. Studies show that anywhere around 71% of Americans experience regular overstimulation. It's driven by hyper-connected lifestyles, algorithmic doom scrolling, and constant digital pings. The type of sensory and emotional overload has become, unfortunately, a defining feature of our modern age. And I think it's safe to say that we have normalized an abnormality at this point. We are truly overstimulated. I think when reading that article, the low-hanging fruit, the part that really sticks out, they say, like, man, that is true, is doom scrolling. If anybody has a phone of any sort like this, you've been guilty of it. You find yourself either upon waking up or either before trying to go to bed. We used to count sheep. Kids used to count sheep. Now they
Right now.
scroll to go to sleep with the phone in their hand. Just,
Mm-hmm.
as a result, we're overstimulated. We wake up looking at this phone, and if it's on the social media, you know, page or whatever the case is, you don't know what you're going to get. I've always told people, and you guys can manage the mental with this phrase, is that your mood is at the mercy of your thumb. You wake up, your alarm clock goes off. You didn't push snooze for the 7th time. Okay. And so instead of pushing snooze, you're gonna just grab the phone, you hold it, you may be laying in bed opening it. You go to whichever place you want to go to, whichever little corridor. There's a Facebook corridor, there's an Instagram corridor, there's a TikTok corridor. You decide which one you want to walk through. Whichever one you decide to walk through, again, your mood is gonna be at the mercy of it. Meaning, so if you go on Instagram, you may go on, and the first thing that you think of, or the first thing that you see, it could be something about morning workout, and that's pretty dope. But because you have muscle memory now, you don't just stay there for the whole entire 2 minutes of learning about the workout. You just maybe see it for about 15 seconds, then you move your thumb, and then the next video that pops up, it could be something about weather in Nebraska or something going on in Nebraska. And you're not thinking anything of it. So you just scroll your thumb again. Now you see the president of the United States, and who knows what he's saying. Now it's starting to kind of bump your nervous system a little bit. You're like, oh man, I ain't trying to hear what he's saying. Next thing you know, you move your thumb again, and it's about a mom being upset that her kids didn't get all their chicken nuggets at Chick-fil-A. And now all of a sudden
Mhm.
you connect with that or whatever. And then you scroll again and it's a bunch of kids outside of some school fighting. And then there's something else and something else and something else and something else and something else. Again, you woke up
Mhm.
hoping to have a peaceful day. But guess what? Now your nervous system is already imbalanced. It's
Yeah.
completely, it's completely thrown off. And again, your mood is at the mercy of your thumb. So much overstimulation, and we do it just unconsciously at this point.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny that social media and the way like it's framed because it's not by accident. It's not by design. I mean, it's by design. It's not by accident. The way the phone is shaped the way it is, the way when social media first came out, I'll say more specifically Instagram, there was a you was able to get to the end of the timeline, right? Like you was able to get to the bottom. I don't know if you remember E, but you was able to scroll and it'll say,
Mhm.
"Oh, you're caught up. You're all caught up at the bottom." Now,
Man,
now it's like it's the infinite timeline
yeah,
because Instagram it used to be where you had to when you scrolling, you had only your friends stuff you can see. Didn't add no ads. It wasn't no for you page. It was just like, hey, these are people I know. Boom. And once you caught up, everybody was posted within the last whatever it is or whatever the last time you logged in, you was good. But now there's a my algorithm be like going just left sometime, and I'd be like, how did I land here? What did I do to do
mhm,
this? Like, what's going on? And it's crazy because even the other day, usually I kind of rest up before my clients. I had a cancellation, so usually when I got cancellations, I used to take a nap. I ain't gonna hold you. Like I'm either like taking a nap in my office or I'm taking a nap if I'm working from home. And the crazy thing was, man, I went to lay down and I was like, right before I laid down, I was like, let me look up my phone real quick. Hopped on YouTube. YouTube has shorts. So I'm scrolling on YouTube. I'm watching what's his name? Mookie Betts. Is his name Mookie Betts, the comedian?
no, no,
I'm thinking
Mookie
about the
Betts is from the
bat.
Dodgers.
Okay, I'm like thinking about oh man, but there's a comedian, I think about somebody else. But I was just listening, I was watching this comedian, man. He was hella funny, and I was like, "Damn, that was hella funny." I scroll up, there's another comedian I'd never seen or heard before, and then this other comedian named Ralph hopped up, and some Dave Chappelle, and I'm like, "Oh, this." There's some stuff, other content around fishing. I'm like, so by the time I'm like, okay, let me finally like, chill out and like, at least try to take a little nap. Man, my session starts in about 5 minutes, and I'm like, see. But the crazy thing was, I meant for myself to rest during that time, and I just unintentionally overstimulated myself to like keep myself up. The crazy thing is I knew I was tired the whole time watching the stuff, but I was like, man, like I'm glued in. I'm like locked in so much to where I can't even like it's hard to like detach yourself. And that's the scary part with and this outside of social media, so many other things, but I think social media is the common ground where it's hard to detach. It's hard to like let go because then you're like feel like you miss out on something or um or there's something pulling you, right? Because the stuff that usually hops on your Explorer page, they have a good hook. They have a high percentage rate of people watching it. So they already know what's going to keep you on the platform, what's going to keep you on there. It's just not, when we talk about these tech companies and these social media platforms, it's not just, software engineers part of this process, developing it. There's also psychologists and people like us that know human behavior, that study the brain, that can tell what gaps. But yeah, the overstimulated man, the nervous system. I know you really big talk about the nervous system, especially in previous episodes, and how overstimulation can set your nervous system to go places where it's not supposed to be. You're
Mhm,
literally putting yourself in a position of having being more anxious. Think about even you just mentioned before you see something political whether it's happening here in the States or somewhere else, like think about when you see those things, how does that trigger you? And that's not to say not to be informed or not, worry about and have empathy and worry about what's going on elsewhere, but also thinking about how much can you really consume. Because I don't care what nobody says, I don't think anybody on this earth is meant to consume as much information as put out on social media. Like
Mm-mm.
we're not designed like God didn't design us to digest all that information like that. So it's just a really really interesting time. We're in a really really interesting wave right now where overstimulation has become the norm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's normal to be overstimulated, normal to be anxious. Like you just read the stats where what is overstimulated, it's not just being overstimulated, but like what comes with that. You know, the intention of, being a good father, being a good husband, the intention of being a good um if you're taking care of your family, your wives, mothers, like you're pulling away from that. How does that show up when you're trying to work and concentrate? There's so many people, not so many people, I'll just speak just more so for myself recently that I've noticed that a lot of adults are being diagnosed with ADHD, not necessarily because they missed it growing up, but more so because there's an overstimulation that they have more than ever. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I think
and
it's just an interesting time, man, for sure when we're talking about being overstimulated.
yeah, it definitely is, and I think being overstimulated like this, the consequences, the long-term consequences, of course, haven't even been studied yet, T, of being
Hmm.
of taking in so much. But we have to understand that there is a 99.9% chance that this consistent, perpetual overstimulation is rewiring the brain somehow.
Hmm.
And so too much of anything is bad. I'll use an example of something that I know probably sent a lot of people in one direction or another. On Saturday, this past Saturday, I believe, what was that, the 13th? June the 13th, 2026, the White House held a UFC uh, fight. It was a big fight night. Great card, by the way. But a young gentleman, Josh Hokett, decided that after his victory, everything he just did had the whole world watching. He decides to get on there and scream out, Michelle Obama is a man. That's what he decided to do.
Mm.
Now, in this time where he
Mm.
has the time just to be grateful, to say thank you, all this kind of stuff, even to specify any of his political views, or if he wanted to up Donald Trump and just, be happy, be a patriot, whatever the case is, he decided to take the route of slander to a woman who ain't done nothing to ain't had has done nothing to him, and just for the millions of people watching to profess that, man, this is a man. Michelle Obama is a man. Now that's bad. But going back to what we're talking about today, a lot of people woke up Sunday morning and Monday morning with that hitting their news feed. And as a result of that, amongst other things, it's caused a great deal of tension. Your
Mm.
mood now is altered. T, do you know that because of what he said, depending on how people take in information, how they receive it, it could have caused some friction in people's homes, on the
Mm.
freeways, in the office space? And to think that this has nothing, it's all because you saw something that hit your nervous system,
Mhm.
amongst other things, you know what I mean? And it's caused you to just automatically get off to a bad day simply because, again, your mood
Yeah.
is at the mercy of your thumb. And don't not to mention, if you not only just hear what he said, but the comments under the post. A lot of people could have been
Mhm.
saying, "Oh, that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful." But for every 10 people that disagree with it, you got one that might say, "Well, he may have a point. He da, 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 da," something totally
Right.
opposite, and now an
Mhm.
argument ensues. And now because you having
Mhm.
an argument with a stranger that you don't know from a bag of tea in Taiwan,
Mm.
now
Mhm.
because you already in a bad mood, now you and your wife are going to be more prone to have conflict because you already in a bad mood. The only thing she's asking you is, T, if you can, please just take your shoes and put them onto the thing. And now you looking at her, I'm a grown man. You don't need to tell, and it's all because
All that. All that.
you went
All that.
on social media and got it cracking. Again, your mood is at the mercy of your thumb.
And cracking. Man. I mean, it's a lot of yeah. What you said is as you're talking, man, I was like, yeah, literally, people will have these debates and triggers, and it's also obviously, it's not condoning what he said at all, but I think it is a responsibility of filtering stuff like that. But for whatever reason, people didn't want to cut that out or whatever it may be. But also it does cause uplift. It says a lot about um people, right? There was I'm not sure if you ever watched this Family Guy episode where uh I haven't seen it in a while, but Brian, it was like a small clip where they had the OJ verdict, and Brian and his roommate was a black roommate, and they're sitting there watching the whole trial. Then the verdict came. Brian's like, "What?" And the black roommate's like, "Yeah." And they look at each other like, I think we need to move out because there's this there's these opposing views that they have
Uh,
now around this. So when you're saying that, I was thinking about that concept where people, because people can be joking around, but like they'd be like, oh well, that's but other people may not see it as being funny, or other people may take a strong stance on that because especially her being a black woman in America and some of the leadership, and that has been demeaning for her physical appearance on so many occasions. That kind of comes back up, and it's like, nah, like we team Michelle, like we're not gonna let that slide. So um the overstimulation, even when it comes to relationships, you can watch somebody doing something, talking about 50-50 in a relationship. You can watch something around somebody saying, oh, my husband does this or my boyfriend does this. And a man can look at that and be like, that can stir some controversy in their relationship.
yeah,
So yeah, but overstimulation isn't just overstimulated, right? So you brought up a good point, E, where it's like, hey, it could cause conflict. It can
yeah,
cause a lot of rift, especially, between people. So yeah, man. That's a really, really great point. Really, really great point. What would you say, E? What would be something that you would tell somebody who may be consuming social media a lot, or somebody who may be overstimulating themselves? Like what would you tell them to do, or how would they cope with that?
mm, I think, I think there's so many different, uh, I guess, quote unquote remedies to it, but it's not
Hmm.
necessarily something that, people will that they can execute, on a consistent level. But obviously you can do the whole, man, I keep my phone on the other side of the room during these hours and things like
Hmm.
that. For me, because I recognize overstimulation as a thing, I don't do no social media on Sundays, T.
Mm,
None.
that's good.
Yeah. I do no social media on Sundays, so people are not going to ever see me interact, post, or message or anything like that. I don't do social
Mm,
media on Sundays, brother. It's
that's
some.
good.
It's just something that no scroll on Sundays. No
That's
scroll on
actually really,
Sundays.
really good.
Yeah. Oh, we
No
might
scroll
need to do it.
Sunday.
We might need to make shirts on that.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I need to start doing that. I think on
Yeah. No
Sundays be
scroll
the day
Sundays.
I'd be like, Sunday be the way I be, on the
Yeah.
weekends I'll be getting it in on the social media. So I gotta follow suit, man. I appreciate you sharing that. You blessed me just now
Yeah.
by saying that. No
Till you
scrolling
hearing
on
it
Sundays.
now.
No,
We got to get some T-shirts made. No scroll Sundays.
no scroll Sunday.
Yeah.
For sure, for
No scroll
sure.
Sunday.
So if you see me post, it was scheduled already.
It was already scheduled.
I'm
5:55, 6/16/2026, 5:55
mm,
a.m. No scroll
there it
Sundays,
is.
brother.
There it is. There it is. Cool, man. Cool. I think this is a good segment, man. We have reached the part of our show. It's called The Dry Down. E and I had a phenomenal friendship. One of the things that bonded us together was not only just being clinicians, but our love for fragrances. So I have a fragrance that I would like to share. This one is more of you can wear it now around, we're getting into the summertime, so you probably can get away with it a little bit, maybe like a couple sprays. But this is one I fell upon because one of my favorite notes is incense. And this house here, I'm not really a big fan of like all of the fragrances, but this fragrance here is a Middle Eastern brand. It's a Middle Eastern fragrance. It's not a dupe of anything. It's most definitely something that stands on its own. They have other fragrances like Casablanca, Musco One, um, Tahi, so a couple other ones, but this is Incense O1. I'm not sure if you ever smelled this, E.
Haven't. I know you talked about it though.
Yeah. So this one, I'll spray it, but like it's phenomenal. It's just one of the ones like if you like, it's like Gris Chanel with like incense. That's the best
Mm,
way with like a nut, like kind of like a nutmeg. Like if you, I think this is something you would enjoy. You don't need too many sprays of this. Every time I wear this, I get a compliment. Anywhere I go, they're like, "You smell good." I could be walking to my car, walking, and this lasts all day, all day. This is good. I wore it a couple times. I wore it yesterday. Then I wore it last week. But when it gets too hot, you may want to go like 1 or 2 sprays, but it's more something for like the fall and winter. Easy call the spring. Cool. When it gets too hot, that incense might project a little bit too loud, especially if you're around like close quarters or if you're at work. Probably want to remake it, but this is recommended. But this is beast mode. This is one of those fragrances. And this is how I can tell. And I'm not trying to brag on myself. Maybe I am a little bit. I noticed that I do have a good smell or good nose because every time I have a fragrance that I really, really love, before it even gets popular on TikTok, these influencers hop on it. I'm already on it. Like this is one of those ones in Houston out here, they got a store. I smelled it, I was like, oh, this is one of the ones. I think I did a video on it like last year when I got it. But if you like that kind of like the Armage DNA, if you like that Gris Chanel DNA, if you like something, this is more for like date night. You can wear it to the office. It may be a little bit loud, but you know, since I bought this bottle used to be like $45. It's now like $70. Easy
really?
$70. Yeah. So like that's why they went up on the price every time. This is my third bottle of this. Um, and will I still pay $70 for it? Yes, I will. I
Okay.
will still
Yeah.
put
Yeah. We
seventy
gotta we
dollars
gotta
for it.
put that off for the people, man. That's one of those I might
Mhm.
have to go on and snatch that real quick.
Yeah, man. But you didn't already. You're hilarious, bro. So he just shot me the prototype of the shirt, the No Scroll Sunday.
Scroll Sunday.
Yeah, there it is. Cool, man. We appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. Make sure you guys, don't be on social media too long. Make sure you regulate your nervous system. Make sure you take care of yourself in this process,
Self
man.
care, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, share, subscribe. Check us out on all platforms on your favorite podcast platform, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all those great things. Make sure you guys show some love. Check our website and our links for the mid-month check-in that we have every month. It's towards around the middle of the month. So just check it out. It's usually, somewhere around the 15th, 16th, maybe 13th of the month, depending on but it's usually on that Tuesday. So as of right now. So check it out. And we'll check in with y'all next time, man. We are the management. Y'all take care.